Hey guys, happy Saturday. Sorry, I'm still trying to adjust this because it wanted to try to topple over on me. Hopefully you guys can see me and hear me okay. It has been just glitch city over here this week. So alrighty, it's like now I can sit and breathe. I was like running around trying to get ready for this, and I'm just gonna warn everybody, my stomach started hurting and I like got really hot. Like I was literally like standing outside trying to cool off. I don't know what's going on because I haven't eaten anything from outside, and I honestly haven't eaten very much the last couple days. So I'm just like, but hopefully it goes away. Hey Teddy, hey Lindsay, hey No Porsche, hey Madeline, how are you guys? Hey Dee, hey Ashley. It's so hard for me to be able to do lives in the evenings, even though I know like it's probably easier for some of you guys just because that's the time the mostly like my clients want to talk to me. And my kid's home, so I feel bad because he's got to go hang out in his room. So, hey Jasmine, hey Yumira, how are you? But thank you guys for being here. This is our last holiday fundraiser for the single moms that we are helping out. So if you want to ask a celebrity question, you can do a super chat of $4.99 or more, or a super sticker. If you don't want to use the YouTube platform, you can use Cash App. It's Psychic Bella Love. It'll be the same picture that is on the profile that I have here on YouTube. So, and don't worry about, I know that YouTube like takes a portion, but I'm covering the difference for them, so don't worry about that. Hey DeMarcus, Mom, how are you, babe? So, Jane, if you'd like to ask a question, you can do so by sending a super sticker or a super chat, because this is a fundraiser to help single moms. And just for anybody that doesn't know and maybe new here, I do not take requests on YouTube. We only typically do them on patreon.com/psychicbellalove at the appropriate tier. This is just to raise funds and give back for the holidays. So, yes, so let's talk about that for a second, because that whole lawsuit that came out of Carlos and Offcheat not paying their rents, I told y'all that they were having money problems, and I told y'all that we were gonna start finding out about it. And we were talking about this in Patreon earlier today, because Spirit said this is far from the last that we're gonna hear about them getting sued or having some sort of issue with not paying bills and getting exposed for it. So, when I told you guys, when she was walking around in that garage showing that all the cars were dusty and didn't have batteries in them, and was saying like, oh, I want to get rid of these because they just take up space because we have too many cars to drive. I said she was just setting you guys up for the inevitable, questions that people may have in the future of like, why is that car for sale? Or why do you no longer have it? It was an excuse, to be like, oh, well, it was just sitting around, rather than we gave it back to the dealer, or they took it back, or we had to sell it to pay the bills. So, not surprised, but I mean, how are you like supposed to be Miss Rich Bitch, as she herself proclaims herself to be, and you ain't paying your rent, and on top of it, you trashed the place? You have burn marks everywhere and holes in the walls and messed up the floors and everything. Like, can we talk about that? Because, whew, and of course you see none of the big blogs wanting to post that. It was Mob's World and Glock Topics and Got to Scoop that were the ones that were running with that story because, you know, of course, Neighborhood Talk and people like that are on our payroll are never gonna say what's really going on with them. But that's why I was laughing when she said that she doesn't give a shit about, you know, the coat that she purposely wore because she always has to have her name attached to Nicki's in the algorithm. You know, they I was just like, well, then you can sell that and all the other clothes that you bought to stock Nicki with. Get a sponsorship deal with ThredUp or Poshmark. You can have Carlos's Closet. And and she can make some money to pay all those bills that she's not paying. So broke people should never laugh, right? And I just wanted to also tell you guys, okay, because we usually right now, because the duds watch and they're plotting and planning, that what do you call, you know, so we usually keep all the Nicki talk over in Patreon, but I did tell you guys last time the off cheat was going around at the Vultures listening party telling people that he wanted to make up with Nicki now. And, you know, saying that he's the one that left Carlos and all of that. And he allegedly then, when Kanye told him he wasn't going to get involved, went to Kai and was trying, allegedly, from what I heard, Kai left him on red. Trust and believe Nicki knows that this was going on. I was talking to DeMarcus's mom on Instagram and I was saying, like, I can't wait for... Because we know Nicki likes to hold things in her pocket until it's the appropriate time. And so I was just saying, like, I can already hear the Queen Radio episode, cue the bomb sounds that she likes to drop, that imagine somebody has been stalking you and watching your every move for years, only for the second that their marriage falls apart for their husband to want to run to the queen. That show's gonna be epic. I can't wait. So, let me just 1 second and then I'll get to the questions that you guys have sent in. If you guys sent a donation through Cash App, because Jasmine did, and then it says Dianisha did as well. Make sure that you guys put your question in the chat. I will get to it in a moment. Well, didn't Playboy go out of business? Or it like was, and I was saying too, like, I know from the perspective of Playboy that, you know, they were trying to get like some celebrities on board and to give them some positive spin because all of those, you know, surviving Playboy like documentaries and stories and things were coming out like during the Me Too era. So they were trying to kind of like change up their, you know, PR and everything. But that was the worst move on Carlos's end to accept to be like a part of that, because number one, like, isn't she also on OnlyFans? Because the whole Playboy app was supposed to be like a competition to OnlyFans. And number two, like, why would you want your name attached to a company that's desperate to turn everything around and not be seen as the predator place? So it's just, you know, like, what the heck? Hey, Hannah. I'm going to make you a mod over here too. Just give me 1 second. That way you can get your look back on Sana if you need to. Because Sana accidentally did her magic that she does where her thumb slipped. And she put Hannah in timeout for 24 hours on the Patreon live earlier. So we have to fix it for Hannah. So let me get to some of these questions. I also have 2 questions about the Royals that somebody sent their donations in previously because they couldn't be a part of the live chat, but they wanted to catch it on the replay crew. And make sure you guys like the video, please. It's a free way to also help. And, you know, listen, I'm going to be dead ass honest. Between the fact that I said that I support Palestine, I don't condemn Kanye, and all the other shit that I talk about over here and on my other platforms, YouTube ain't ever going to put me on the right side of the algorithm. We're always going to be fighting for our lives to be seen and to get some followers, because the second that I was like, okay, let's just really tell the truth, they were like, bitch. So will Tate McRae be the replacement for Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera? And what is their 2024 career outlook? Okay. I have no idea who Tate McRae is, so maybe y'all can inform me in the comments. The first thing that's coming up though is that Spirit saying, like, as far as the industry goes, they feel like they don't really need to find a replacement for Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears because there's been plenty of other pop stars like over the years, so it's kind of like, but I also get them feeling like that heyday of those big superstars, you know, has kind of passed us by. And so it's like, are we really gonna ever be able to find replacements for those 2 people? No. But is this person gonna be the new person that the industry wants to support and blow up is really, you know, the question. Because if we haven't been able to tell by all the sexy reds and the Glorillas and the other people, the industry does not prioritize talent all the time, and it's just about who they choose that they feel like is going to either be their moneymaker or their agenda pusher. And that's who really gets the support. So, which, by the way, y'all, did you see Glorilla asking people for recommendations for a voodoo lady? I saw a bunch of barbs commenting and saying, just go ask your cousin Carlos. And I was like, child, see, that's what happens because she was too quick to go be buddy with the industry demon who sucked all of the life out of her career. And now that she's getting tossed to the side and she's not doing so great anymore, it's like, oh, I need to go find me a voodoo lady to do some work for me so that I can try to get back on top again because everything else isn't working anymore. And it's like, girl, I mean, listen, again, I was right because I told y'all and so many people got so fucking mad at me because I said Glorilla was really going to be a flash in the pan, 15 minutes of fame type of a person and was going to fall off real quick and real hard. And that somebody else was coming up right behind her to take her spot. And people were so mad at me. And it was like, oh my God, how can you say that? It's not true. She's going to blow up. Well, You're welcome. I was right again. So let's see this Tate McRae person. Did she start off, I'm assuming this is a she because you said her and that's how's her 2024 looking. Did she used to like start off like, you know how Katy Perry once upon a time was like a Christian singer and then she ended up, you know, transitioning over into pop music? Was she like something else first, or like country music or folk music or something else? Because it's talking here about having had some like hopes and dreams that certain things were going to work out, then it not working out, then there being this whole like we have to completely rebrand you and do everything differently in order to be able to make you marketable, like from the like record executive and management's point of view. Like we have to make you like the sexy pop star girl and you can't be a little country girl or whatever it was that she was doing before. So I feel like that's something that she's gonna have a bit of a struggle with, because Spirit is saying it's a lot like how, remember when Chloe Bailey all of a sudden started trying to be super sexy and everybody was like, what the hell is this? Because they felt like it wasn't genuine and like she was just trying to keep up with the industry rather than being true to herself. And to this day, there's still people that feel like when Chloe does sexy stuff, it doesn't hit because that's not who she is, but her trying to be something else. It feels like that's sort of a battle that she is gonna go through, having to kind of force herself to be something that she's not, but Spirit's saying that she so desperately wants this career to work out and for things to move forwards for her that she's gonna try really, really, really hard to pull this off. So oh, okay. So she was the Canadian Billie Eilish. Never heard of her. She was a YouTuber, kind of like Troye Sivan, doing covers, and competitive dancer on So You Think You Can Dance. Okay. Again, never heard of this person. I thought Troye Sivan was like a Disney kid. I must have been so wrong about that. Maybe I was thinking of like a Disney character's name was Troy or something. That's where I thought he came from. Like, cause I don't know him from really much, but wasn't he in the that creepy show with The Weeknd and Lily Depp? So that's just all I think I know him from. But I swore, like, I don't know why I thought he was like a Disney kid that, you know, was making that transition. So but I do see her being able to build up a fan base. So Spirit saying that this next year is all about her like getting pushed onto a bigger audience, more people being able to know who she is, new opportunities. So this is kind of like a breakout year for her as far as reaching more of that mainstream audience. She's never going to be a Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera level type of a person. But again, I don't think anybody is going to, because we know that the industry doesn't even give a fuck about longevity with artists at this point. It's more just, you know, toaster, strudel, microwave, you know, kind of Pop-Tart stuff where it's like, here, have these 5 songs in this moment with this person, and then we're going to move on to the next thing that's hot on TikTok or whatever. And again, the fact that she's on RCA, Spirit saying at some point, there is, not this next year, but at some point in the future, there is going to be some label issues and that's gonna complicate things for her, but she'll get out of that label and move on to something else. But I think the next couple years are probably going to be the biggest of her career for her. And then after that, it's kind of going to be like, who knows? But that's kind of the way it's going to be for everybody, too. So, Troy Bolton, played by Zac Efron. That's probably the last Disney movie, show, anything that I've ever, like, and I didn't even watch it, but I was dating somebody who had kids that watched that, so it probably seared its way into my brain at some point, just hearing it in the background. So that would make sense. That's probably why I thought that he was a Disney kid. So that's the thing, Sana. It's like they said that industry executives are depressed and their mental health is in shambles and they're crying at their desks because Ice Spice is the only person that's got signs in recent times that's like actually like making a profit. And it's like, oh, I don't know why this happens because you guys keep doing crap like that. Like, you don't give anybody like any opportunities to, you know, have any longevity. So what do you expect? So I can Plictal. So I hope I'm saying that username right. Maybe the voodoo lady will find her, tell her that she's been hexed by Chalupa. Listen, somebody in my Patreon called her Carlos Kruger, so I've been calling her that all week because it just fits her, because she's scary in every sense of the freaking word, right? So it's a perfect fit for her. Let me see. Let me go up and see Jasmine's questions. I forgot to do a reading on Justin Timberlake and Jenna Dewan's relationship when covering JT's BS on one of my previous lives. What happened during their relationship? I thought I did answer that. I'm sorry if I didn't. Spirit saying the same shit that happens to him in every relationship. Number one, she was a complete rebound for him. And like, it was easy because it was like, oh, we're performing together and we're around each other all the time because of work. But Spirit saying that, you know, once the convenience was taken away because we're not on a tour and doing shows together every night, and I actually have to even go across town to get to your house, like, there was no more desire to put too much effort in. And Spirit saying that he obviously cheated on her too. And was it Cameron Diaz that he dated right after her? Because Spirit's saying that he moved on to a bigger celebrity because they're talking about there being like the social climbing aspect of like, there is not you know, like, there wasn't enough clout attached to dating her at that time, and he wanted somebody that was more powerful or interesting or enticing, you know, that would keep people talking about him and being interested in him, because it was all about, the more you talk about me, then if I do put out projects or anything, then people are going to know about it, so there's more support. So he, you know, wanted to attach himself to more famous people. I've been telling you guys, that guy is a user. He's which, by the way, you guys, I'm just going to tell you, if you feel inclined to do so, send up a prayer for Aaron Carter's mother, his living sister, Angel, and for him and his soul and the souls of his sisters who have passed with him. I know that their mom has been problematic, but I also know that her and Aaron got to a better place before he passed, and I know that she has been really trying to bring attention to her believing that he didn't pass accidentally and that there was some sort of outside interference with that. Obviously, we got to be careful how we say things on YouTube, but I feel like this poor woman is really suffering, and her daughter also that just passed away had a child who now doesn't have either of her parents because the father had already previously passed. And I always just, you know, as much as people can say that Aaron Carter was problematic and this and that, like, if you really do know, like, what happened to that poor kid, the industry ate him up and spit him out. His family took so much advantage of him. Like, he's dealt with a lot. So I always was hoping that he would get it together and have an opportunity to live a better life and to heal and have some peace within himself. And I always pray that he's found peace on the other side, because I do feel really, really bad for him. Because, you know, these kids, child stars, they never, most of them do not seem to make it out in one piece without having some sort of issues in the future. And if you want to know more about what they go through, patreon.com/psychicbellalev. Will Jessica Reed win her case against Charlemagne the God? Does she still have her case open, or was it dismissed? Because I don't know why I thought that they like dismissed it or it got thrown out or something. Oh, yes, Plectal, you can ask in the comments. Let me see. Okay, guys, I'm going to ask you to hold the questions for just a few minutes so I can get through the ones that I'm trying to answer right now. Her case is still open? Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because I don't know why I had thought I had heard that it got dropped, so. Surrounding Charlemagne the God and victim Jessica Reed. Thank you. Oh, okay. I know he tried to get it thrown out, but I think that's probably where I got it confused, because you just don't hear so much about it. And, you know, of course, like, so much crap is gone on with so many other people, like Diddle Bop, that you know, kind of dominates the news cycle, and you forget about older cases. Which, by the way, guys, too, I did see some channel I've never even watched popped up on my community, or, you know, their community tab post popped up on my suggested on YouTube earlier. And they had posted, like, people were, I guess, posting on Twitter that there's even more stuff that's gonna come out about Diddle Bop in the next couple weeks, because more people are filing lawsuits and more people have stuff, stories, issues. So, which I told you guys was coming. And so I know some people in the comments were saying, like, he's gonna be named in the Epstein stuff, but then other people were saying, no, it's like he might, but I guess whatever people were tweeting about was more about new things than other stuff that didn't have to do with Epstein, and just, you know, Diddle Bop's nonsense that he's been a part of throughout his whole entire career. I mean, it's sad to say, but and I'm just like, ugh, this is like a frustrating laugh, and I'm not like laughing like ha-ha laughing. If he did get named in all of the Epstein stuff, that's like still sadly like the least worst, least shocking things that we would probably hear about him. It would just be like, well, we expected that. I mean, it's him. You know, like, it wouldn't even be a surprise. And I was just thinking, like, what a fucking disgusting monster are you that we would be like, oh, not surprised that you were on Epstein Island. Like, shouldn't that be like, oh my God, how horrible? So, you know, you're a damn demon if people feel that way about you. But it's Diddy. Just wait until it's Jay-Z's turn. Because Spirit's always said that there was still a little teeny tiny somewhere inside of him piece left of humanity in Diddy. Whereas Jay-Z don't have any left. So I'm honestly, that kind of scares me to think, like, what could even be worse than what we know that Diddy's been involved in? I mean, I know some of the shit that Jay-Z's been involved in, but it's still, you know, it's just like, all the stuff that you don't know about. We're becoming desensitized to it all. I think that we are, you know, and like, it's the craziest thing to me too, because I do think that we've become desensitized to it, because every time that you see like that there's even a conflict or somebody got arrested for some kind of assault or something, like when it's you know, like a DV situation or something, now people are like, oh, you know, well, we're not going to believe it because look at what happened with Megan. Look what happened with Amber Heard. Like, we have to stop jumping to, like, believe victims, which is horrible and sad that, like, we even have to question stuff, you know, and then people on the flip side of that saying, well, what did they do to the guy and why did he act that way? And it's just like, it's a part of that, like, people being so overwhelmed and overloaded with these types of things all the time that it's almost more like, instead of being shocked and horrified, we're just like, well, who's next? And that's a really sad space for society to be in when you think about that. So, oh boy. Okay. Eventually, Jessica will get some sort of redemption in this situation. But Spirit's saying it's talking about it getting dragged out as long as possible, because remember, you know, everything to do with the entertainment industry is always going to be influenced by money and power. I mean, the whole world in general, but, you know, since we're focusing on the industry right now. And because of that, Spirit's saying, you know, when people are still in a position, in a situation where they hold some type of power or influence or are able to be used to influence people, and they're still making other people money, there isn't a whole lot of motivation to let that person go down, because then obviously it's not just Charlemagne, for example, that suffers. It's iHeartRadio. It's the people who invested in iHeartRadio. It's other people that have investments in him and his businesses and what he's got going on. So Spirit is saying, you know, the whole Breakfast Club in general is hanging on by a thread. Obviously, you know, they're bringing in all these people and they're trying to do things to capture their audience, but they've been, you know, falling for a long time. People are sick of the nonsense that they put out. Him and DJ Envy are definitely both have a lot that has been being held back about the both of them, you know, and the fact that like all the Caesar Pina stuff is happening. Spirit saying, depending on sort of more of how the outcome goes with that, it's going to determine Charlemagne's fate. So I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of 2024 going into 2025, that's when we finally start to see some movement on that and things picking up as far as that case goes. Spirit saying that there's also something else that's going to come up Two things actually. Charlemagne, something else about him is going to come out, another story about him. And number two, he is going to get into it with somebody by putting his foot in his mouth and saying the wrong thing, and that person making some phone calls. All of the way that Diddy did to Wendy Williams back in the day, being like, get their ass off the air. And that's what's gonna seal the deal for him, where they're like, okay, it's time for this motherfucker to like go down. The dog whistle goes out, and then all of a sudden, you know, not only is there movement on her actual like legal situation, but Spirit saying that's when the court of opinion comes circling back around and people are all ready to tear him to shreds, and then everybody's gonna be like, and remember what he did to Jessica, and then, you know, she gets the social karma aspect of it going in her favor too, finally. But Spirit saying he does have some very big battles coming his way, and he thinks he's gotten away with things so far, but all he has really done is delay it and push it back. Like he hasn't fully gotten away with it. So ask the people in here who are over the age of 38, and it might be even a little bit younger than that, but I'm just saying 38 would be around like people that I went to high school with, because I'm 41. Jay-Z was not Mr. Number One best rapper of all time back then. It was only in recent years that he even started being seen or talked about as some sort of a legend. He was just another rapper along with all the other rappers. And there was a lot of these rapper moguls at the time. They may not all still be the same way, but there was a lot of them in that era, you know, or the producer moguls, Irv Gotti, Jermaine Dupri, like he wasn't the only one and he wasn't the best. So, you know, they've been trying to rewrite history, same way that Destiny's Child was not the best pop group or girl group that ever existed. We were all way more invested in other people. We would listen to their songs on the radio. People bought their albums, but they were not, oh my God, yes. Like they try to act like these people were Michael Jackson and had the same level of fame and adoration and support throughout their entire career that Michael Jackson always had. And it's like, no, you're at the height of your career right now and you're still not touching Michael Jackson. Y'all couldn't even touch Michael Jackson in Jackson 5 days, but you want us to think that, but it's not like that. Because again, I will always say, look at Beyoncé was just in Brazil. Did she need the Brazilian military to escort her because people were going to literally knock over the hotel that she was staying at because they wanted to see her so bad and nobody could get through the streets for miles around the damn hotel because everybody in the country was there? No. But has that happened to Michael Jackson? Yes. So that's so annoying when they want to compare that. Jay-Z's an okay rapper. I'm not saying he's not good, but he's nowhere near the best either. So, you know, and I've never been super into Beyonce's solo music. I would honestly rather listen to anything that she put out with Destiny's Child before I would, you know, want to listen to any of her solo music. So, but that's just me. Like, it just doesn't resonate with me, and it hasn't. So, Nas is way better. Nas was always way better. Just like how Miss Beyonce wasn't the best either. We had Aaliyah, Mariah, Whitney, Britney, Janet Jackson. Exactly. TLC. Like, Tonight, I cannot talk about that on YouTube, but also I already did a whole reading on that in Patreon. So I actually covered that whole situation and Jackie Kennedy and her involvement and everything too. So if you want to pick a different question to put through, I am going to circle back to Hannah. How did Beyoncé feel about Nicki's perfume doing better than hers? Ooh, good question. And listen, guys, because I know people were like, oh, Jay-Z added everybody with Uzi and Nicki, you know, to some playlist or something that he does. Okay, first of all, Uzi's his artist, so of course he's going to want to support him. And secondly, because he saw all the barbs dragging him, I mean, if you guys think that Jay-Z and Beyonce, just because they don't be posting on their social media and interacting with people and in the shade room comments, they pay attention to what people are saying. So it was a distraction because all the barbs were like, oh, Jay-Z doesn't like Nicki and started clocking him for his shit and that he's got problems and that she was, you know, dropping breadcrumbs so that we could figure it out for ourselves. And so it was just the distraction, you know, of, oh, look over here, I like her. But the Carters keep their competition close to them. Jay-Z hated Kanye every freaking second since he knew that Kanye existed, and he tried to keep him in the basement only doing beats. And when he couldn't do that, it was like, well, let me be pretend best friends with him. Use him to produce music. Use him to make this joint album because that benefited Jay-Z. And then when Kanye didn't want to be his little best buddy lapdog anymore and started talking back and started questioning things, all of a sudden Kanye's persona non grata. So that's what they do because they want to be number one in every category. So let's see. Spirit, how did Beyoncé feel about Nicki? Thank you. And Plictal, if you want to put your question in, I'll get to that one next because I know that you've been waiting for a week. So you can put yours in. I'll get to that one and then I'll go to Tanaya's and then whoever just put the recent super chat in. So, and then give me a minute to catch up, guys, because I also still have some questions that I also have to do that people submitted before we got on live too. Okay. Whew. All right, number one, Spirit saying that, you know, the way that she released this as like a limited amount, a limited edition, only through her website, you know, it was trying to play it off like it's an Hermes bag, you know, in the air of exclusivity that you get this perfume and only a certain amount of people are going to also have it. But Spirit saying, you know, Beyonce and her team are well aware of the fact that she does not sell things very well outside of the music. It's been a pattern throughout the years with her, you know, it's like people will spend $80,000 on front row tickets to her shows, but don't even let her put out pencil erasers. People are gonna like support it for some reason. So Spirit saying they did this limited run because it was kind of like how, you know, Kylie and the lip kits when she first came out with them, and it would be, oh my God, we sold it out in 5 seconds, guys. But it's like, how many units did you actually have in stock to sell out from? 5,000? Like, of course it was gonna sell out, you know, like for somebody that has the celebrity of your magnitude, 5,000 units isn't a lot. I mean, it would be for me, but like not for them. But, so it gives that fake exclusivity. And then if you don't get a shit ton of people wanting to purchase it, then you're not left over with a shit ton of stock that you have to give to TJ Maxx. So to sell for you, it was, let's test the waters and see how well we do. And there was a very limited amount on purpose because of that, not because it was, we can only make so many because we use special magical bees that came from fairies or whatever the crap that they were claiming. So the fact that Nicki could mass release on multiple platforms, and knowing that obviously not only would JCPenney's have more than, a few thousand units, they probably overstocked in anticipation and still sold out. That is driving her insane. Spirit saying that she's incredibly jealous of the fact that like Rihanna can sell things out very easily too, because she feels like, I'm better than these hoes, basically. I'm the queen. I'm better than Rihanna. I'm better than Nicki. Nicki's not selling her tickets for $800 a piece. So why is everybody buying her stuff, It really, she keeps tabs on people and she definitely gets jealous. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the truthful review videos, because people were saying it smelled chemically and like cold syrup and bug spray. People were saying it smelled worse than heat. It was giving very much White Diamonds and Old Lady. So she actually sees this perfume as a tower card moment, because she really did think this was going to be her redemption. If people loved it, if it sold really well, okay, look, maybe we go in the direction of releasing beauty and cosmetics, because it was also testing the waters for that. And Spirit saying, it just fell flat for her. And I feel like a lot of the people that were around her, advising her, telling her maybe we should hold off on the other stuff, that we had plans going forwards. She's also stressing about the fact that Nicki's going to release those nails too, because I feel like that's something that Beyoncé was considering doing as well. But this is the thing. She's late to the beauty game anyways, because it's like we see so many, celebrity makeup lines, and some of them, if they're really well thought out and really well planned and they have really great products and there's a real special thing to them, that it's like, yes, Selena Gomez, like her Rare Beauty, like the whole thing is it's supporting mental health because proceeds go to those foundations. And also they're quality products that are, in a mid-range price, and people like them. They feel like they're good. And on top of it, they're easy to open if you have mobility issues. So I know a lot of people purposely purchase because it's like, well, I have arthritis in my hands and I have a hard time opening cosmetics. So this makes it easier. So I'm willing to spend the extra $7-8 on a concealer from her than one from the drugstore, because I can't open the one from Target, but Selena's I can. It's like Beyoncé, Spirit saying there's nothing that's going to be added of value to anything that she would want to put out other than just her name being attached to it. So she's not going to capture the general public. She's really only going to be marketing to her own fan base. And it's like, her fan base is proven. They don't really buy all her stuff the way that she would want to. So I think we're going to see it take a while longer before she drops that hair stuff. I mean, honestly, she should hurry up and put that shit out because Fenty is going to come out with hair products. And if she tries to drop around the same time that Fenty does, that's really going to overshadow her stuff. And people really aren't going to be into it. But also, girl, I would suggest go to your natural darker hair color. Wear your natural hair out. Make a big deal about how healthy it is, because running around with this fried, dyed, and laid to the side platinum wig is not going to be a good selling point for that hair care, because I've seen a lot of people dragging her and saying those wigs look dry as shit on top of washing her out. So it's just like, people are going to be like, well, I can't use it on the wigs apparently, you know. So it's like, you have to like be like, look at how amazing my own, I use all this stuff on it. And if your hair ain't looking good, girl, it's not going to make everybody excited for that to come out. So I mean, this is the thing that Beyonce tried so hard to position herself as a legend that she took all relatability away from herself, that's why there's such a disconnect between people wanting to support her and people, you know, only seeing her as your only value to the market is the music and that's all support. Whereas people do find, you know, because Rihanna is more personable and open, Selena Gomez and Ariana Grande and Lady Gaga, you know, they'll go on Instagram Live and do a whole tutorial to show off their products and things like that. And even Rihanna's done a bunch of stuff like that. So there's still something that's relatable, and because you see them using these products and you're like, okay, like I get it and everything. But can you imagine Beyonce being like, oh, get ready with me and put her makeup on? Like, no, and she's not willing to put herself in that position to do something like that either. So, and hold the questions like asked, please, guys, because I got to get through some of these first. What is the real reason J-Lo can't maintain a relationship? Oh my goodness, that's funny, because it's true. Because as I've said, you know, she's at the place where it's or it's basically like, girl, you've had like 100 fiancés and 20 husbands. Like, obviously, you are the problem. So, let's see. Spirit. Oh, I can't talk about anything health related, Plictal. Like, YouTube will literally take my channel away, so I can't talk about stuff like that on here. Sorry. We got, like, you guys, it's talking about crime stuff and health stuff is always like, you get in big trouble over here, so. I hate having to censor myself all the time, because I am not a politically correct person by nature. My loudmouth Italian self wants to just be like, and bitch, and say what I want to say. But I won't have a platform for you to hear me on if I do it over here. They'll take it away, so that's why we have to leave certain things over in Patreon where we can be uncensored. Okay. So, you know what? This is the thing too that I think that maybe like doesn't get addressed enough when it comes to J-Lo. she be cheating too. Okay, she's just sneaky about how she cheats because she does it the Ariana Grande way, where it's like, well, I'm not cheating, but still gonna stay in this relationship, and I was just having some fun on the side. I'm cheating in the sense of I'm setting up my next relationship, so that way when I leave this one, I don't have to be single. So, you know, Spirit saying that she be doing the same thing, but obviously she's very much a throw rocks and hide your hands type of a person. So for her, it's like, well, I'm gonna let everybody else just pin all the blame on you and think you're the bad person, but really I was doing the same dirt behind the scenes, because Spirit said she knows that there is an expiration date on all of her relationships. The other thing that Spirit's saying is that, because let's face it, she's a narcissist. So she doesn't really love and have the same emotional connections to people the way that you or I would, where if you were married to somebody and you got a divorce, wouldn't you like be a little bit devastated and need a minute to yourself? Not let me go get remarried in 15 seconds every time it happens too. And Spirit's saying that she very much does envision herself as a modern day Elizabeth Taylor. And so it's like, well, how can we spin the failure of this relationship into something that somehow benefits me while I secure things over here with my next victim? And she, you know, if we do see her pretending to be any kind of sad or whatever, it's for the cameras or for, you know, to spin that narrative and to benefit her somehow. And on top of it, it's like, the only way that it would really hurt her is if she feels like I wasn't done and you left me. So that's why there was that obsession with both Mark Anthony and Ben Affleck, because they walked away. She didn't let them leave. They chose to end the relationship. And that's why she, you know, tried to circle back, because it was the I have to win, not I really truly felt like, well, you're the father of my children, like when it came to Mark, so we should try to make that work, or you were really truly the love of my life. Because Spirit's saying she focuses more on the romanticism and how does this make me look, rather than is this a real good relationship and how do we make this function and be a positive, healthy thing that's gonna last. And the same way that I told you guys, like when it comes to like Kim Kardashian, where, you know, I know she was running around telling people that she wanted the normal, boring things. She just wanted the small stuff. She was tired of the relationship only being about the big moments, and she needed somebody that could just be simple and day to day with her. That's because she already knew that she was going to debut her relationship with Skeet. So she had to dumb everything down, because it's like he couldn't compare to any of the other people that she's dated, and he certainly wasn't going to compete with Kanye. So it was like, I have to make people think that that's what I want. So then when I show up with this random person that's kind of just really regular schmegular, even though they are famous, it makes sense. You know, so, but really to Kim, does she actually give a fuck about the day-to-day of the relationship? No. She wants to know that you're going to put on the suit. You're going to stay interested in me, in our show, in my life, because everybody's interested in my relationship. I want to show off that you bought me a Birkin bag or sent me flowers or took me on a trip. That's why Kanye lasted as long as he did, because he did all of the big things that she wanted and she got to ride the clout from it for so long. Then when Kanye was like, I'm not playing this game anymore, and went to Wyoming, wanted her to like get off the internet and be a real mom and wife, she didn't want him anymore. So, Spirit saying J-Lo is exactly the same way. They operate the same way. So she 100%, like she's literally showing up, Spirit saying to read this as, do not get it twisted, you know, yes, the motherfucking problem is her. She is the Tower card. She is the manipulative Queen of Wands woman. It's her, and everything is about her needs. I mean, the fact that your husband goes storming out of a vehicle when they pull up to an event and he's grabbing his jacket and stomping past everybody to get inside, and he just has the most like, oh my God, I hate my life look on his face. And then here she comes out of the car and she's like, hi. I mean, at least we can say like Hailey Bieber, for example. You know, we've seen Justin Bieber do the same types of things that Ben Affleck does around J-Lo, but like, because you can tell that Hailey Bieber genuinely loves Justin, like you can see the heartbreak and the disappointment and the, oh my God, like, you know, and you can, and it's also like at the same time too, sometimes when I see Hailey like on those clips that go viral and get reposted everywhere, you can also almost read her mind and see it registering in her head like, fuck, everybody's gonna see this and now I'm gonna have to deal with all these trolls again too, because the whole reason why those clips go viral, and I've even seen them, is because there is a certain fan base that hates her in that relationship that repost them to be like, see, he hates her, they're miserable. So, but you could tell like the girl is genuinely sad that her husband doesn't seem to be happy or whatever, that he is upset. But here's J-Lo. Everything's fine, guys. It's like, no, it's not, girl. Get with the program. So, okay, let me see. J-Lo and Taylor Swift both can't keep a man. Well, listen. The difference between J-Lo and Taylor Swift, you know, because they both tend to use the people that they date in different ways. At least Taylor is farming content to write more music with versus, you know, J-Lo, who's just like, I just need a man around because I think that it makes me more important or desirable. So, there's that. But the perfume is $160. What the hell does she think she is, Tom Ford? I mean, it's just really like, if I'm going to spend almost $200, because you figure it's by the time that you pay for tax and if you have to pay for shipping and everything, it probably is. Can you guys please, I respect the fact that I asked to hold questions for a minute so I can get through the ones that people already sent over. But I mean, then it's going to end up being closer to like 200. And so it's just like, if I'm going to spend $200 on some perfume, guess what? I'm definitely going to go get me something more like a Tom Ford or a Creed, or, I mean, I know that those are probably more expensive, but still. Nikki's perfumes always smell so good. Got people walking around smelling like Raid. Oh my God. Rare Beauty has really good reviews. It does. I've heard really good things about Lady Gaga's line, specifically like the foundations and concealers. I'm just at a place in my life right now where I'm like, listen, I got grown people bills, number one. And number two, my Maybelline Fit Me foundation is always there. I can always find my shade and my undertone. It's like $7 or less. I love my CoverGirl Outlast concealer, so I'm not really in a space where I'm like, let's go spend $50 to go try new makeup. Listen, the way that this inflation is setting up, it's giving very much, we need to get our makeup from the drugstore and stay the hell out of Sephora right now. And that's okay, because I would rather spend my makeup budget feeding the kittens outside and donating to individuals who need help anyways, especially when it's like I could still do my makeup, you know, with my cheapo stuff just fine. Maybelline Fit Me sells out every day. I know. I'm gonna get to it, Jasmine. I did have, don't worry. That's why I told you guys to hold the questions for a minute, because I'm trying to get through everybody's. Oh, I'm sorry, no Porsche. I was like looking because like the number like kept flashing like about how many people are in here. And I just noticed like it was like 50, 70, 100, 90, 70. I was like, what in the hell is going on? Justin Bieber's fan club president. Oh my God. Yeah, TB, basically, that's all J-Lo cares about is the appearances, just like him. I mean, how sad, too. Like, I don't know. I just think, like, how... See, I could never be a sugar baby or a trophy wife because I can't make myself pretend that I like somebody that I don't like just because there's some sort of benefit to it in some way or another. Like, that's not me. So, let me see. Okay, what is the real issue Jay-Z has with Nas? Because every time people talking or congratulating Nas, here comes the media with the Jay-Z talk, etc. Same thing why they ever really had a beef in the first place. Because like I tell you guys all the time, it didn't only just happen to Carrie Hilson. They have gone out of their way, allegedly, everything is for entertainment purposes only because we don't got lawyer money over here because we just don't. But it's because, you know, they wanted to be seen as number one. And Nas was that person in that era that Jay saw as that huge threat. And people can blame it on, oh, somebody slept with somebody's girlfriend, baby mama, somebody told somebody said something about them. At the core of it, it was, I have to try to, you know, take this person that is that real contender to be compared to me or maybe even surpass me. I have to take them down a few notches. And so Spirit's saying that that has continued in the sense of, well, I never want you to fully get your shine. I never want you to fully get your flowers. So the same way that every time that Nikki even gets on the internet and farts, here comes Carlos being like, oh, well, I can one-up you. I'm going to go take a shit and show everybody instead. Like, because, you know, it's just like I have to try to overshadow everything that comes out. And if you notice that Nas does not, like, Nas doesn't get the flowers that he deserves. He doesn't really get all of the, like, wow, he really is a legend. I know that there's people that think, well, no, I hear people say that. You do not hear him being called a legend at the same degree that other people from his era get. But Nas has always been a very super talented artist. And again, the way that I tell, people as well that I just said this like a while back earlier on the same live. They practice the keep your friends close and your enemies, or people that could potentially be an enemy, closer. Do you think that Beyoncé was like, oh my God, I really have so much respect and love for Taylor Swift, and she inspires me so much, and I'm so happy that we get to be the two queens that had these huge tours together this year? No, not fucking at all, but she wants Taylor's fan base to support her. She wants to know what Taylor is up to, so that way, because obviously the more that you know about somebody, the easier it is for you to do something to them when the right time comes along. So, and it benefited Jay to make up with Nas when he did, but do you think that once somebody has an issue with either of those two that they're ever completely forgiven? No. Not at all. So it's just fake, and also trying to overshadow him constantly. So Carrie ate with the diss though. He still listen to her. Yep, see, he does. He drops music every single time that Nas does. Yeah, everybody talks about that. So not fart. Well, it's the truth. It's the truth. Nikki sneezes, Carlos has to say that she has pneumonia. Like, she always has to attach herself to her, but still somehow try to, like, one-up her. Wait, Yara Shahidi is Nas's cousin? I didn't know that. And this is the thing, too. Not only was Nas a far better rapper and writer than Jay, he was also... Every girl was drooling over Nas back in the day. Oh my God. And that's the thing. That, like, probably half the girls that I grew up with had Nas's pictures on their walls. We all thought he was the finest thing that ever, existed. We were just like, who is that? He is so hot. So I'm sure that probably ate Jay-Z up as well. And he still looks good. He still looks hella good. So talking about the facially challenged camel. Well, we talked about that in Patreon earlier, why it's, just because you don't find him attractive does not mean that you don't find traditionally Black and African features attractive, because there are many other people that have those features that are not called ugly, and it is okay to just say you do not find him attractive. It doesn't mean that something is wrong with you when you need to decolonize yourself. That is a narrative that they just wanted to spin because, God forbid, we not find Beyonce's husband attractive. So, do you guys remember when she won the award and she said to my beautiful husband, and then everybody put out all of those memes, and it was like her beautiful husband, and he was like, like all ugly. They were drawing like the stick figures of the ugly guy. I know he cried in the shower. I would too. If the whole entire world was like, oh my God, I can't believe your husband called you pretty, you're an ugly bitch. But it was funny. So let me see. Let me make sure I got the questions in the chat. Oh, good night, Lindsay. Okay. Okay, so Jasmine and Maddie, you guys both sent donations in. So put your questions in the chat. Everybody else still hold on to them, please. The person that sent me their questions, because I know you're gonna watch this on the replay, it was Harry and Meghan stuff. I'm in it actually because I was already thinking like this is probably something that would need a separate video anyways, and I have felt spirit saying that I was going to need to do a video on them soon, and then I was like, oh well, somebody asked the question, so I guess I can include it. I'm going to just go ahead and do that separately as a separate video sometime next week, or maybe we'll do like a whole add it to Tuesday's live or something, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get to those tonight, because I do have to wrap it up too, because I've been fighting a stomach ache the whole time that I've been on here, and it's starting to come back. I know women in SoCal who aspire to be the trophy wives. It's a culture there. Oh, it definitely is, especially in the OC. But I could be a Splenda baby. No sugar will be given. Oh my gosh. Dude, I don't even think I could do that. Like, just the idea of having to have text conversations with somebody I don't like just because, like, that just seems like so draining and exhausting too. Beautiful hair. Jay is still mad about being called ugly. He had like, okay, the Watch the Throne years, and if they caught him at the right angle, and you squinted, he was okay-ish. But also, I've said this before, like there's certain people, like I was about Diddy too. I just have a really hard time finding them physically attractive, because I can just, obviously since I'm psychic, like I can your nasty ass energy, and that translates so hard that I just feel so repulsed by certain people that it's hard for me to be able to look at them objectively and be like, you're an attractive person, just because they're so gross and repulsive energetically that I'm just like, oh, you're gross, you're ugly, get away from me. So I'm probably also like why I think he is so unattractive. He didn't even believe that shit. What is going on between Sasha Farber and Emma Slater? They were both married and now they're separated. They're professional ballroom dancers on Dancing with the Stars. Were they married to each other or separate people? And is Emma the one that danced with Mauricio on there? Because I never know anybody on those shows because I don't watch them. But Dario wanted me to watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with him this year, so I followed a couple Bravo fan pages to like keep up with like some of the stuff and try to catch up on what had happened previously so that I could just jump right into the season. So I kept seeing them reposting like Mauricio on Dancing with the Stars the whole time. Which, did you guys see him partying with Anita? That was like so random. Like, I was like, of course, like, Anita is hot as fuck. So, like, why wouldn't Mauricio want to hang out with her? But, like, I was just like, Anita, like, I have so many questions about, like, why is Anita hanging out with Mauricio? That was just so random. Okay, all right, they were married to each other. Okay. Because I saw that they were saying, because when she got caught holding hands with Mauricio, that it was this big rush to, like, make people know that she's single and that her and her husband were separated. So I didn't know who her husband was, though, but I did see that they said that she was going to. So let's see. In the words of 50 Cent, the gay painter look was not the right choice. Hey, all I'm going to say is, for everybody that's been defending Carisha and saying that she didn't know and all this stuff, okay, even if you didn't get on the internet and ever Google this man to see what people are saying about him, or none of your peers in the industry gave you a, hey, be careful conversation, which I'm sure both of those things happened, I will say where she outed herself is, remember when she was fighting with Gina, she was what did she tell her? You're nothing but an eater, and if I tell him right now, he'll make you get on your knees and eat it. Why would you say that to somebody if you were not aware that this person is a part of his harem and his freak offs? Because it sounds like she was describing some freak off stuff. All of the, you know, golden showers and the I want to get walked around like a doggy and other things that she was saying were all obviously her acknowledging or telling us about the freak offs, but thinking that she was being slick and we didn't know what was going on. But, like, she told on herself. So she was wearing white nail polish. Oh. I'm saying, why would you tell somebody something like that if you supposedly had no idea what was going on? Like, I would never, first of all, I would never be fighting with another woman on social media over any man. Like, girl, take him. But that would never come to my mind as something that I needed to say to a bitch to get her back when we were arguing. Like, who says that? You don't just randomly say some shit like that. You only say something like that if you know, oh, that's his bottom bitch and she'll do anything that he says. And these are the types of activities that happen, you know, with him. So, just saying. Okay. So what's coming up as far as this marriage and why it's having its issues and Spirit saying is definitely ending is okay. I know a lot of people have gone on that show and they ended up dating the dancing partner, marrying them even, you know, it may not last forever, but because lines get crossed and boundaries get crossed and new connections get built when you're spending hours a day for months, you know, touching on each other, dancing together and getting to know each other. And so Spirit is saying that there was a pattern in this marriage of the both of them getting a little bit too close with other people during these, you know, situations when they're paired up with, you know, their new partners and stuff. And so it's like, but on her part, it was definitely like emotional. And Spirit saying that they've had a lot of fights about these situations. It's been an issue between the two of them. Um, Also, he's not a super honest person in general. Spirit saying that he has a tendency to just jump and lie about things. And it's like little shit. Like, what did you have for breakfast? Oh, I went to McDonald's and had a McGriddle. And it's like, you never left the fucking house and you had a bagel. Why would you lie about that? And it's like lies just fall out of his mouth. He's not a super honest person, but I actually feel that he is the one that pulled the cord and walked away from this relationship. Especially, do they have kids? Because there's something here about kids also playing a part in this, like, demise of this relationship, not being able to be on the same page as far as children were concerned, and it just being like, we can't agree on anything. Neither one of us really like seems like we're super into this relationship or being super fulfilled by it if we keep looking for outside people to come in and fill in the gaps where we're not exactly happy. And so you know, that's kind of where things fell apart, but they're definitely done. Also, just for the Mauricio aspect of it, Spirit saying she was enjoying having this like flirty connection and the energy of this guy that was into her. And yes, they made out. I don't feel that they slept with each other, but Spirit saying there was makeouts happening. But Mauricio has now moved on, you know, and he is out here partying with stuff. And I do feel her having a sense of disappointment around that because she did get emotionally attached to him and she was starting to hope for more. But now she's having to kind of realize this is a middle-aged man having a midlife crisis, going through a divorce. So he wants to party, you know, and throw champagne on people with Brazilian pop stars. He's not trying to leave his marriage and then hurry up and settle down into his next long-term relationship. So she's had to give up on that situation. They own a dog named Ruby. Okay, then Spirit saying that it was about them not being able to figure out, you know, being on the same page about having kids, because it was very much, you know, that. Guys, I can't help it if the sound is messing up or it's glitching or anything like that. It's YouTube. It's been doing it the entire month. I think that somebody that I talked to said that all their servers keep getting overloaded because everybody's, you know, doing Vlogmas and stuff like that. So Anita, why? I don't know. It just cracks me up. It was just so weird. I was like, what happened? So, dude, YouTube has just been on one lately. I mean, I couldn't even upload stuff last week. All week when I have tried to upload videos because that's why I didn't get to upload any separate videos like I wanted to, because it was taking me 12 hours to upload a 20-minute video to send to a client. And I was just like, what is this? And again, AT&T hates me. They're just like, you need to like check with Google first, because I'm always like, are you sure that there's nothing we can do? And they're like, stop bothering us, lady. So, okay, Maddie, if you are still here and you put your question in the chat, who still does vlogs? Well, people, even if they're not doing the actual vlog stuff, you know, people just upload more in general because December AdSense is supposed to be, you know, more whatever. So people try to upload more during this time of year. I tried to see what that was about last year and the year before, and what happened was I got sick both times. I always get sick at the beginning of December. This time I was like, I don't care. YouTube doesn't pay my bills anyways. I would rather just focus on trying to help somebody else. I don't see it, Maddie. Where was it? Can you put it back again, hun? Because I don't know. I can't see where your question was. And I'll take one more question, guys, and then my stomach is really starting to hurt, so I got to wrap it up and get up off of here after this. Oh, Ari says that she's saving on something on Taina for a rainy day. Okay. Let's see. I saw it, Danielle. I was trying to go in order because the other girls had donated before you and yours came in after I had said like 3 times that I wasn't taking any more questions at the moment. So I will get to yours, but it's going to be the second to last one. And Veronica, if you wanted to put in a super chat or a super sticker or send a donation, then I will take that as the last question, but I'm only taking questions that have been with a donation because this is a fundraiser to help single parents. I'm not just answering questions, just random ass. And Jasmine, I already answered both of your questions that you paid for, babe. So let's see. Oh, it's okay, Danielle. I was trying to go in order. So let's see. Spirit, how do Ari and Tyson feel about each other? And for those who joined in late, guys, we only request outside of these, you know, infrequent fundraiser type things on patreon.com/psychicbellalove. I don't take requests outside of these on YouTube. And if you want to know about the Illuminati or religion history, any of that kind of stuff, patreon.com/psychicbellalove. I am active in there all day, every day, basically. So you get your money's worth. Thank you, Anna. Okay. Let's see. Okay. The funny thing that Spirit's saying is it's like Herb should be doing a very certain thing right now, seeing as that how many years is he going away or has he not been sentenced yet? I watch some vlogs. I don't watch Family Channel vlogs, but if it's like a certain person that I like, I'll watch a vlog here or there. Sometimes I just put them on the TV when I'm like cleaning and stuff. So his sentence is January, but he's gonna do like 5 years, right? Because I was just trying to make sure if I was thinking of him or Fetty, because I know Fetty has to do 6, which is very sad because these are men that have not only kids, but you got like really young kids. Not that it's any easier to have your parent locked up, but it's just, if you go away for 5 years when your child is like 4, are they even really going to remember you all that much when you come home? You're 9 and you missed out on like so many of those like really important years. So Spirit's saying, what he should be doing as a man is saying, trying to make things right between the baby mamas so that they can make sure that the kids are still able to have relationships with each other and to be support systems for one another. But he doesn't really care. He's out partying, he's doing whatever while he's waiting his sentencing. So Spirit is saying that like Tina and we're never gonna like each other regardless. Even if Urban and they had just ran into each other in the industry because they have very opposite personalities from each other. Like Ari is very in your face. Like she really I don't know what sign she is, but it gives like Aries energy. Like I'm really like just in your face. I don't hold back. Whereas Taina is very sneaky and quiet and throw rocks and then hide her hands. Whereas Ari is more like, no, I'm gonna get in your face and yell at you. And so they just are oil and vinegar anyways. Or oil and water, whichever one of those doesn't mix, because I can't think right now. So Spirit saying the stuff where it's like her threatening. That's funny that they like have, or that they're both Aries. That's interesting. Because I was like, Ari just reminds me of an Aries. Like they're just really in your face usually, and they don't care, and they're just like, I'm just gonna say what I think. I'm not holding back. But Spirit is saying that the stuff that she thinks that she has on her is more of like, I have messages and recordings of our baby daddy talking shit about you. So it's like, if she ever felt like, she wanted to really prove a point to Tuna Fish, she's gonna release that shit and be like, look it, your baby daddy was talking so much shit about you. Stop acting like you won. He said that you trapped him with all these kids and that you were doing XYZ thing. It's just, and this is the thing, it's pillow talking. Guys will tell you all kinds of fucked up shit about the girl that they're with, because if they're like, no, she's a nice person and I just want to be a dog and stick it in something different than what I got at home. A lot of women would have a stroke of consciousness and be like, you know what? She's a monster. She abused me. I can't stand her. She trapped me and she does this and she does that. Then you're willing to be like, well, I guess she's a bitch and she deserves it. So I'm not going to feel bad for sleeping with her boyfriend, right? So it's just like, what she thinks that she has, fans would eat it up, but like people that have the gonna be like, that's just the shit that any dude is gonna say when he still wants his first baby mama, to give him some ass on some I miss you kind of stuff. So it's just, and Spirit's saying though, she doesn't really have anything that's gonna like ruin Tiana's life if she releases it. It's not like, oh, look it, you stole from somebody, or I know about some illicit crime you were involved in, or everybody's gonna change their opinion about you today because let me tell you what she's really like. It's literally just adding to the baby daddy drama, basically. Like, big fucking whoop. I think at this point, everybody's kind of tired of it, right? So, but these two were just never really gonna fully like each other. They're just way too opposite. And of course, that triangulation that happens between two girls that get put in a position of feeling like they're competing over some guy, especially usually the guy that they're fighting over ain't shit and ain't worth it anyways. Like, Bluetooth or those types of people. And you're just like, what is so appealing about this guy? I mean, really, like, when you think about it, like, Tiana and Ari are both really pretty girls. Why are you fighting over G Herbo, the only song that he has ever put out that, in my opinion, I want to listen to was Nicki's song Chirac. He did do a good job on his verse on there, but like, who's really sitting around and being like, you know what? Let's smoke a blunt and listen to G Herbo tonight. Nobody. They're acting like they're fighting over, I don't know, Dr. or Ice Cube or somebody that like has some real fucking money and power and status. Like, he's a nobody in the context of the music industry. He's more known from social media than his music. So it's just like, oh my God, why, what the hell? Bluetooth Street Fighter and Stewie. Listen, guys, I'm gonna tell you, because I actively avoid everything I can when it comes to those people. Bluetooth, Croissant, Stewie, whatever the fuck their names are. Stop entertaining that shit, because if you ever wanted to know what it looks like when people have demonic spiritual energies attached to them, it's them. That's why they're all caught up in this shit. He played around with some bullshit that he shouldn't have because he wanted to get famous and have money. Croissant took a step further, smearing her blood all over the walls and binding herself to the demon that lives inside of him when she did that. And Stewie is just along for the fucking ride because she's like, well, I was here first and I've put up with so much shit, so I better benefit out of this situation. There's your fucking reading on them. That's it. That's all. And all the people around them egg it on because Zeus is benefiting financially. 100's getting a check off of it. The blogs are getting engagement every time that they post about it. And they are being used to push the destruction further of Black relationships, the chaos agendas, and all that crap. So feeding into it, you're playing around with satanic energy, and that's why I be scrolling real fucking fast. And the only people that I ever feel any type of concern for in that situation is those 3 little babies that are caught up in everything, because there are 3 innocent poor little babies that have not known a moment of peace in their entire lives, because these are the people that are raising them, unfortunately. So prayers to the kids, cover them in protection and love. I hope to God that things get better for those children's sake, but stop entertaining demonic shit, because you just invite that energy into your own life by paying attention to it and entertaining it. And that's why I scroll real fast. Although I will say that I was tempted to leave a comment earlier today and say, at this point, I will say that I am that baby's dad, just so I can take it away from that horrible situation and make sure that it's going to its doctor's appointments and getting its diaper changed and being able to just sleep in its bed in peace for a minute. Like, so that's all I feel bad for, is that poor little baby. I've tried to block and them everywhere because I'm not on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, but you just cannot escape it. So I was, but that's all you're getting out of me as far as these people are concerned, because that's what it all boils down to. A bunch of people stuck in some dark negative energy that just want to, use it for attention and clout and benefit and profit off of it, but they'll have a real long-term cost to their souls, to their dignity. Someday they're going to grow up and be very embarrassed. So I just feel so bad for that poor baby. I mean, somebody said that she was driving around with him like on the front seat and he wasn't in a car seat. I'm like, this poor little baby, like, why can't you just leave him at home in his bed and make people be quiet so he can take a full freaking nap for once in his little life? Like, that's all I feel bad about. So let me answer that last super chat and then I'm going to get off of here. Okay. Can Spirit share their predictions on Coachella 2024? Let's see. When I saw, because, again, as much as you try to avoid it, you also can't help but like be assaulted with information about these people and what they're up to, unless you just completely want to stay off of social media altogether. So when I saw that picture that went viral of her at Walmart and the kid's like this falling out backwards out of the carrier, I was just like, oh my God. And then to find out that the poor thing also had a hernia, and I'm like, so all the pressure from his little legs being bent around your waist and his back being bent like that means that hernia was sitting right here on the carrier in her body, getting smacked against her as she was walking. And I was like, he was probably in so much pain like that. Like, I was crying because I felt so bad for that poor baby. Like, I literally pray for him every day that he's going to be safe because I feel so bad for him. So, but again, the parents can all go to fucking hell for all I care. Sana, I don't know, like, if you saw the pictures too, because they were posting that, I didn't even know, I guess Courtney and Travis had their baby. And there was one of the pictures that the blogs posted, and Travis was holding the baby and he had his lips all in his face. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like my Italian grandparents and ancestors were always like, don't you put your lips and your mouth in a new baby's face, even if you're its own parent. Like, kiss them on the top of the head or the back of the shoulder, or like their arm or something, like not their face and not their hands that are going to get in their face because, it's germs. And of course, like, there's so many people outside of Krishan that I'd be scrolling social media and literally in the back of my head, I'm like, hold the baby's neck. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why are you kissing on that baby or taking it in public or walking around holding it like that? It's brand new. Like, it should be in the house in its bed, It's like, people forget that we just had a pandemic and that what we had a pandemic for was not cured and it's still going around seasonally. Like, why would you want to risk your newborn catching something? No, Sana, I mean, we're the same way that you're supposed to keep the baby in the house and the mom for 40 days or 6 weeks or whatever. And even at that, like, you still like only barely take them out if you can help it because they don't have an immune system. So they act like they're cute little bags or something. I saw somebody holding a 2-month-old that couldn't even hold its head up. You know, like people hold older babies where they hold them outwards so that the baby can see everything that's going on because they're at that age and they don't want to just only turn towards their mom. So you hold them around the waist, but you're still supporting their bottom and stuff. Somebody was literally holding a 2-month-old who couldn't hold its head up that way. And the baby's just like this. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it was on a YouTube short. I think it was like a Family Channel person. I had never seen these people. They just got recommended to me. Thank God, because I was like, I have to see the comments. Everybody in the comments was like, you need to never hold that baby like that again, and going off on the person. But it was insane. I was like, what's wrong with you? And it's so crazy to me how people will do shit like that and then post it. Like, you really either knew that that was gonna piss people off and you were gonna get the most engagement that your channel has ever seen, because every single person is gonna be commenting that you need to hold the baby's head up, or you just really are that fucking stupid and you need to take some parenting classes or have like grandma come stay with you and teach you how to properly take care of the baby. But I just can't stand when, you know, people do stuff like that. Because those poor kids are so innocent, and, you know, it's just like on top of it, like you're already using the kid for marketing for whatever you got going on. So hold them properly if you're there's, well, you know what, Havana, I mean, from what I was reading, like Gen Z and the generations after them are saying that they don't want to have kids, and they're you know, predicting that we're gonna see them be the generation that has like the least amount of kids compared to previous generations. But also, like, I read that like millennials kind of started that because a lot of people like in my age group, because I guess I'm a millennial, also didn't have kids or stopped at like one, versus their parents, you know, that would have had 3 or 4 in their generation. So it's just, I mean, I don't blame anybody because it's cost so much money to raise a child anyways. And with the cost of living out here, it's like, I don't see how like people would feel comfortable. And, you know, at the end of the day, everybody's got to do what's best for them anyways. Not everybody has to be a parent. Not everybody has to get married. You don't have to do what everybody else did if you don't want to do it or you feel like it's not right for you. And if you do want to get married and be a stay-at-home mom, that is okay too. So, yeah, I mean, it's so funny because my kid, he's like the only little boy I've ever seen. When he was like 3 and 4 years old, he would talk about his kids he was going to have someday and come up with names for them and what kind of kids that he thought they were going to be and everything. And then like the last couple years, he's like, I don't want to have kids. I'm like, no problem, dude. Whatever you want, I'm supportive. I can have a bunch of grand cats. I am okay with that. If you want to have a bunch of dogs, those will be my grandkids too. Whatever makes you happy, I am cool. So, okay. There's something weird coming up around Coachella in general that I'm not sure that they're going to be able to have it exactly when they planned on having it. So, didn't they like delay it and have it later in the year in 2020 because of the shutdowns? Like it was supposed to be, when did they usually have it? Like March or April, and then it was like ended up being like in October or something instead because of it. It feels like there could possibly be some type of delay, but I don't feel it being COVID related, but more so other things that will be taking place in California, like natural disaster type stuff. Like maybe it floods and we actually get a shit ton of rain and it's like, oh, like we can't do it because the ground's all muddy and there's mudslides or something like that. So don't be shocked if that happened. And Spirit is talking about somebody that they choose as a headliner not being able to perform because it being pushed to a different date, like it no longer coinciding when they're able to be available because it feels like this artist is going on tour themselves. I'm not talking about Nicki because it feels like it's a male artist because they're showing up as the King of Cups. But it's like, oh, like I could have made it if it was originally that day, but if you have to have it in September now, like I'm going to be in Europe and I can't reschedule my tour to be there. So I'm going to have to like catch you next time and they're going to have to fill in, you know, somebody else to take that spot. There's going to be a shit ton of complaints about how much it costs because I see like there is a drastic increase in the price for the tickets. And I know that they've been pretty astronomical anyways. And Spirit is saying it's literally where people are like, what the actual F? Like, this is like buying front row tickets to Taylor Swift last minute on the resale market prices. Like, and a lot of people saying, I can no longer afford to go, even though I would have I never would have missed this in the past. But this is just ridiculously expensive that people can't afford the tickets. And to be able, because, you know, not only is it the tickets, you have to be able to stay there or at least somewhere nearby. You have to pay for food. You have to pay for transportation. Like there's so many other costs that go into the event other than just the ticket that I feel like, you know, it's going to cost so much money. And so many people are so, you know, being more savvy because we're obviously in a recession. We're obviously dealing with inflation. So it's like, even if I can't afford to go, can I justify doing this? Knowing that my bills are more expensive than, you know, I'm used to, and it's not being able to do it. So Spirit is saying, you know, there's going to be that. And this is the thing, Coachella was supposed to be a lot like Burning Man. And Burning Man has also gotten very corporatized too, where it's just like, it really was supposed to be just go out and listen to indie artists in the desert. Then it became attracting more mainstream people, and then all the celebrities and influencers wanted to go, and now they turn it into a fashion show. And there's tons of people that I have even seen that have admitted on like social media that they didn't give two fucks and they had a miserable ass time. And they only went because it was content for their TikTok. And it's like, what a sad thing. I'm sorry. You will never catch me wasting my time and money to go to some event just for some fucking content. Like, if you think that that's the way that you have to live, you mentally trapped yourself into that. You know, you can create your own content. It's your own page. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. But also, there's something that's also going to go wrong there that we're going to hear about too. Like, all the porta potties backed up and it smelled like a sewer the whole time. And then people were complaining that they were getting sick. There is going to be, like, I feel like this, like Spirit's talking about this being a catalyst to like everything that can go wrong goes wrong because it has to change. Like, it's deviated so far from what it originally started as that it has to change because it's no longer sustainable from what it was supposed to be. And so it's almost like this happens for a spiritual reason. Like, does Kylie Jenner want to wade through backed up shit from a porta potty just so that she can go get her little pictures for Instagram and be like, I paid all this money to go to see one artist for 20 minutes just to say that I was there? Like, no. But it's like, it has to happen because this is not the way that it's supposed to be. So it's going to be interesting to hear what people have to say. Wait, Burning Man went through something like that last year, didn't they? Where like they had to literally like get people out of there because they were getting stuck in mud, because Spirit kept saying it's gonna be like how like some other festivals very recently have been kind of disastrous. We're gonna see the same thing with Coachella. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with it. But yeah, it's not going to be the best one they've ever had for sure. So anyways, guys, let's do some giveaways real quick and then we will get off of here because I gotta go, but we gotta do our giveaways. So I'm gonna give away 3 15-minute readings. Let me see, what should be, okay, I'm gonna write down, first one, I'm gonna write down something. Let me think of what I'm writing down first. Okay. Whoever guesses the number, it is between 45 and 80. Whoever guesses it correctly first, you get a 15-minute phone reading. So, that you put your guesses in the comments. Tanaya got it. TB, you got it. I already know your info, babe, so I'll just go ahead and send you your link. Check your emails later. We'll do 2 more. Give me a minute. Hey, Maze, how are you, babe? Okay. Pick a number between 10 and 30. And whoever gets the number between 10 and 30, you will be the next winner. And to remember what number I wrote down. DS Raven, you got it. It was 17. Email me psychicbellalove@gmail.com and let me know the winners so I can get your info to set up your appointments. And our last one, and by the way, guys, because we did the Instagram winners too, they've been messaged. I'm just waiting to get their information back so I can send them their links. I let Whitney pick everybody who won on Instagram. I literally just opened it up on my iPad and told her to point, and she put her paw on people's names, and that was how anybody on Instagram won. Okay, and our last one is pick a number between 70 and 100. And whoever gets this one, you will get a free 15-minute appointment. You're welcome and congratulations. So, listen, if you didn't win and you're mad, you can get mad at Whitney. Ronnie got it immediately. It was 87. So, and Ronnie, I know how to get a hold of you, so I will set your stuff up for you too. So congratulations to Ronnie, to DS Raven, and TB. You guys won. And thank you so much to everybody that was here with us tonight. Thank you so much to everybody who donated. May Whitney be in your favor, guys, right? I just wanted to say for everybody that is celebrating, Merry Christmas if you are. If this is a hard time of year for you, you're in my thoughts and my prayers. You guys can always reach out to me and ask for prayers. Those are all the time. I pray every day for everybody who does watch. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, because what would be the point in doing a live if I was just going to talk to myself? I could talk to myself in the mirror in my pajamas with no makeup on. So you guys are what has kept me over here. If you haven't already and you want to do me a favor, like this live on the way out. I really, truly love and appreciate all of you. We will 100% be back on Tuesday for our normal lives at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. So I will see you guys again next week. In the meantime, remember that your ancestors love you. God loves you. Your angels love you. I love you. You are loved. You are worthy. You are deserving of all of the good things, and God made you perfect as you are. And the only thing that ever stops you from greatness is believing what the world wants you to believe that you aren't. And the way that we fight back and win the spiritual war is by healing ourselves and believing in our own power and not allowing others to tell us untrue stories about ourselves anymore. So I hope that resonated with who it needed to resonate with. And I hope everybody has a really again on Tuesday.